Yo, what's up, boys? Welcome back. Gonna be using LR Ludociel today on Nid. As most of y'all know, I was not really ecstatic about her being the LR, as I think she was in a pretty decent place. I thought they could have used the LR on maybe a different unit, specifically Sariel, but she works out pretty decently. We're getting 40% stats out of her now, and we get crit chance and crit damage with like cleansing buffs with her, which is pretty nice. We get just a slightly better buff card now, but not the best. Nothing too insane. I think she was already in a pretty decent spot, so they couldn't go like too far with her, because it would just literally just break her. But normally, like, for my Nid team, my main Nid team, if I'm not using like some fun team or some unknown stuff, this is my main team. I don't have red Margaret anyways, so I've been using blue Margaret for this team for quite a while. Like, anytime I don't have like some video or something planned for content, this is my main farming team. Pretty much the same setup, especially like the Tarmiel Liz. That's like a must for me, because I don't risk like anyone else like getting thrashed on. And plus, my Tarmiel is not 6'6", so I have to run the triple defense on this just so it helps her to live, keep her like getting targeted. Don't want any of my DPSs to die really, so it works in my favor. I'm gonna try to play this as normal, like how I would normally, but with slight variations, where I try to like actually prioritize buffing with Margaret in like places to like actually proc the new aspects of her, like for cleansing buffs, for cleansing debuffs, which I would not normally care too much about. Normally I would just spam my buffs as fast as humanly possible, just to get like the most out of the stats as fast as possible. But I'm thinking maybe I can like keep it back just to get the cleanses, to see if we can buff up the crit chance and the crit damage, because trust me, there are times when like your Freya will not like crit for some reason, so having that extra bit of crit chance is pretty damn nice. And from what I've seen, it can stack up pretty high, especially with this team if we're going to be multi-buffing, so it's probably going to go really insane. For the most part, this team already takes like less damage than most other teams, and this is all like insane amounts of DPS. So I already know I don't really have to worry too much about surviving, because I have a lot of extra stats. I have 2 cleansing cards, 2 places of healing, and a lot of DPS cards. And with Ludo now getting a slight buff, you can more consider her a DPS unit, you should say, in this. Because from what I've seen, her DPS really stepped up quite a bit from where it was. Because before, more than likely, her ult, even at 6'6", would not even crit, or at most it would hit for maybe 400,000. Especially like on the higher phases. For like floor 3, 400,000 is like her norm for me. But here, like, there's a clear difference, and you will see. The increase is something pretty significant. Like hitting for hitting for the cap here, like that AoE card, it does not normally do this amount of damage, so yeah, it's an increase, I guess. In the first floor, I can't really like maximize everything because of how fast like this floor is able to clear, but maybe on floor 3 or floor 2 I get better stats. Unfortunately, I don't get a 4th card to attack, but I'll show you. Like, this team is pretty tanky. You don't even need to worry about like proccing his like attack buffs, because of how tanky this is. So you can just go in, give him his like his stats buff. He's not gonna do anything really. Like, that's nothing, not even close to dying. And then we just fully heal back up again, because LR Liz is just too good, and continue. Not the fastest floor one, but because I was kind of slowing it down, but yeah. Floor 2, like if I had maybe red Margaret, you are able to one tap the phase 1. I actually did not try the full combo to see if I was able to do it with this one now, because I would normally I would come up pretty short. So I didn't even bother. I just go for the casual 2-turn, plus I get like a ton of debuffs to cleanse, which is insanely good for me. Like, that's a lot of stats. And yet this right here, that damage, this AoE damage here is not normal. That's not normal. Definitely not normal. That's above par by a bit. Blue Margaret does not hit for that much normally. So a decent increase. And you'll see with the first one, we already at 40 plus. But that's like nothing, because it can go up quite a bit with this team. That's with one cleanse. But where it like really comes in is like you're gonna be critting most of your hits. So actually missing crits becomes like a rarity now, which I really love. Because normally you would account for like certain hits critting and you might have to reset if you don't get proper cards and stuff, but now you don't really need to worry too much about it, because more than likely you're gonna hit the damage caps or overhit where its HP would be at where you need it to be, like the 70% cap or the 70% marks. You don't really need to worry too much about it. Yeah, so we can speed through this super fast. Easily hitting that 70%. Before, I did not summon for red Margaret because I already had a decent stack of relics. And this team for me, it feels like it's balanced enough so I can clear it in reasonable time. So I didn't really need to summon for red Margaret. And now I feel like it kind of worked out in my favor because the blue Margaret just got a slight upgrade. It becomes slightly more easy for me to clear. So, like, look at this. The crit chance values are kind of nuts. That's really gonna help. And especially how it does both crit chance and crit damage is very nice. So you're gonna see a damage increase all around. And especially when you have like 1-6 ult for Mael, 2-6 for Freya, it's gonna be actually needed in certain cases. Because trust me, there are times when Freya would be like, nope, I'm not gonna crit, and only hit for like 350,000 when you might need like a 700k hit, and it can be pretty bad. Like, you're already seeing a taste of her damage, hitting for 624,000 here. Pretty decent. She normally, that's where I think before you would see max at, but not anymore. Like, max damage for her would be around that limit if you're like really capped out. Even on floor 3 damage, that's where it should be at without LR. Floor 3 phase 1 just barely gonna clear it as normally. That's why I love this team. It's actually able to do the turn 1 clear on the phase 1. It's so strong. Phase 2, we don't really get like a remove. Unfortunate, but as I said, this team is pretty tanky and it recovers insanely fast. So you don't really need to worry about removing or having to reset if you don't pull like a stance removal. Even you can survive 2 turns until he pops his counter as well. So you don't really need to worry too much. And with his amount of like mechanics, you're gonna be stacking a lot of buffs, a lot of ults. So if you get those specific perks, you don't really need to worry about how many of his counters you remove. So to counteract the 15%, for the most part, you can easily get away with like removing quite a bit of those. Because you can just spam buffs, spam ults, and get that percentage down super fast. I'm thinking about darkness right now. It does not really go too crazy on my team. Like, we tank most, like if I can stack 3 darkness on a certain unit that's getting hit, they would survive. Pretty decent damage. Nothing too insane on this phase. As always with this phase, you're just gonna take your time and clear through. Just survive basically and rotate cards pretty normally. I popped the Liz before because I don't want her ult up. I'm trying to get something different because I can like wait off the first turn without popping a Liz ult. So I don't want it first turn. That's why I used it in that way. Off rip 1.9. That's pretty damn good. The most I can hit with like this with my ult level is 2.5, 2.7, I think. But that's when I have full buffs up. Everything. But just one buff, that's pretty damn good. Because it can drop all the way down to 1.2 mil. And if I don't crit, maybe 600,000. This is where it really surprised me. This hit. 1.9 from Margaret. That's something you do not see. Normally, even with buffs, she would hit for a max of maybe 600,000. Because normally I would consider her ult to be used with either a Mile card or a Frere card as normally. So that's the above, beyond like what I would consider her to do. Yeah, the Frere cards are kind of just flowing at this point. You already know we're gonna get this clear easily. The damage is more than there. Ult level does not even like really worry me because one Mile card, one Frere card is all we need to actually like clear the entire bar. And as long as we get like, as long as I have like a Liz ult, can't really do much to me. At most, he can hit me down to maybe half HP and then I pop Liz and I get full HP back. Yeah, but as I said, LR Margaret, she's a convenience unit really, right? She was already a pretty damn good support. Now she's an even better support. So all in all, pretty all around balanced unit, I would say. Nothing too broken about her, and she's usable in most PvE stuff if you really need her to. So yeah. And now she's not lacking in ult damage that much anymore in this team, because before that's where she was lacking probably the most, because you want a support that not only just buffs, cleanses, but if she can dish out some decent damage, that's a good plus and pretty nice unit. So yeah, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.